Well, good morning, everybody. This is Tim Green with Rattle Magazine. Welcome to Poets Respond Live, our Sunday morning news show exploring current events through the lens of poetry. Thanks so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Mostly this is an open mic, and if you would like to participate, all you have to do is give me a call. Phone number is, oh man, everything's a little messed up this morning. There you go. Phone number is 818-850-7727. That's 818-850-7727. Let it ring a few times and then hang up, and I will call you back when the time is right, when it's your turn. The other option is to call me over Skype, Rattle Poetry, all one word, and send me a chat message there, and I will call you back when the time is right. Either way, you'll appear on the little call list, and we'll just go in order of requests received. We go for about maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes, something like that, and we'll hit new people first who have never been on the show. But before you do that, if you haven't submitted your poem to Rattle through Submittable, where I can pull it up, send it to me over Skype at openmic@rattle.com. That's openmic@rattle.com. We got a whole bunch of people lined up already. And today's poem was... Let me fix this before it messes up. Okay. Today's poem was by Abby E. Murray, another poem about... the passing of Marvin Bell, a legend in the literary world. Let me find Abby, and then we will call her up. Bear with me 1 second. Again, I woke up a little late this morning, and I'm not completely prepared. Where did Abby's Skype ID go? There it is. Then we'll call up Abby. But while you're doing that, make sure you send your poem to openmic@rattle.com. Let's see, is Abby there? Do I have the right Abby? Yep, we do. Let's call her up. Your poem to... Hey, Abby, I can hear myself in the background, so close that out if you haven't yet. Yeah, I still have... So close out of wherever you're watching. I think that's good. Okay.
They have it. All right.
Perfect. That sounds good. Hey, Abby, how you doing?
I'm decent. How are you?
I'm good. Let me see. Everything's a little discombobulated this morning.
No worries. It's Sunday morning.
There we go. Okay, now you're centered on the screen. So, so your poem about Marvin Bell, of course, and I just loved Marvin Bell too. But he was actually your teacher. Do you want to just explain what your relationship with was him? What was it like taking his classes?
I met Marvin Bell. I think in 2007 is when I started my MFA at Pacific University, and I was getting my MFA as kind of a coping mechanism, because my husband was going back and forth to Iraq and Afghanistan a lot. And I met Marvin. And it's funny, actually, I wanted to work with Joe Millar first. And Joe said, okay, we have an advisor every semester. And then he waved me over the next day and said, I can work with you, but Marvin said that he wants to work with you. Is that okay? Do you want to switch? And I said, nah, I already asked you. And he was like, I don't think you understand. This is Marvin fucking Bell. And so I worked with Marvin, and I really just wanted to play in my poems, and Marvin didn't force me to write about anything. He just let me play. He wanted me to run faster and wilder, the better. And he didn't blow smoke up my ass about deployments and stuff. He didn't say, Tom's going to be fine. The war is going to be fine. And so I trusted him. And that meant a lot to me at that point in my life.
Yeah, and he was a veteran too. So that probably helped a lot. Yeah. I just remember him. I only met him the one time. We spent like an afternoon with him maybe 12 years ago or so in Port Townsend. And I remember he was just such a great storyteller too, and such a great, it was just so fun. Like you could just sit him up. I mean, I don't know. I'm completely jealous that you got to spend so much time with him in his class.
He's kind of the guy who you could be walking outside of an ugly ass Target in some town and like point at the curb and be like, "Tell me a story about that curb," and he'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah, and he's so unassuming and humble too, and just a wonderful person. I really loved him,
Yeah.
and a great poet, of course. What is the best advice on poetry, do you think, that he gave you?
Um, he always used the line "right with abandon," and that is something to keep in mind. But he actually passed something on to me that I pass on to my students. Um, he told me to be very protective. He did not want me to get my PhD. I asked him for a reference, and he was like, "No, don't get it." He's like, "Academia is going to suck the life out of you." And I was like, "Well, I really want to get it." And so he was like, "All right." So he wrote me a recommendation. He was like, "I want you to be protective of your creativity." He was like, "No matter what job you go into, when shit starts flying around the room, I want you to be protective. Like, protect your creativity with everything you've got." Um, and that has been something that I've passed on to my students, is that no matter what situation you're in, circumstances, what field, be protective of your creativity and the time you give to it.
Yeah, well, do you want to go ahead and read the poem? It's What the Dead Man Taught Me. And of course, Marvin Bell's most famous for the Dead Man poems, which is a motif that he uses, I guess you'd call it. It's sort of a character, and there's the Complete Dead Men poems, came out from Copper Canyon Press not too long ago. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of these lines, I assumed, are some of the things Marvin actually told you over the years, right?
Yeah, he did. And there's a lot, he referenced the moon a lot in his poems. He has a poem called Coffee. There's a lot of little poem references in this that are from his poems and also from the things that he told me.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful poem. It made me tear up, especially listening to you read it last night. Just
Oh, thanks. That was hard to
yeah.
record.
Well, it's just poets, like great poets deserve tributes like these, and it's just great to see it happen. So thanks for writing and sharing this with everybody.
Thanks for publishing it.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and read it? I'll put it up on screen for everybody else too.
Okay, sounds good. All right. This is what the dead man taught me, and it's for Marvin. The dead man is dead, and yet these are his tracks in the snow, fresh. He's gone through your garbage again. Your trash is more important than your car. Without it, you wouldn't be able to get where you're going. Wait, I might be wrong here. The dead man called me favorite. He never called me best. And yet, this coffee is mine because I say so. Every letter on this page is mine too. I am in touch with my inner seagull. You can write about the moon all you want. It will keep being moon. It is too busy dying to explain itself. There is nothing more toxic to the human poem than a poet with an agenda. Avoid committees. Academia is overrated. If you insist on joining it, protect your urge to write poems. In this only, be ferocious. If you need to giggle, you should. If you need to sing, you should. If you don't, you should. Whatever you see in the clouds is yours to see. Same with darkness. Only close your eyes when you must. No teacher or soldier can make you know anything. Know how to love anyway, and how to say so. Where you're standing now will burn. The dead man hates to see you sad. Everything you do makes him smile. Remember, words have meaning. We think we have meaning, though we lose track of it constantly. We throw the meaning of us out with the eggshells and newspapers so often. It thinks it lives outdoors. The dead man isn't home now. He heard music down the street and went to see about it. Come back later. All his stuff is here, see? In 1,000 years, somebody will say, you just missed him. And it will be true.
Beautiful poem. Thanks so much for sharing that. It was Abby E. Murray with her tribute to Marvin Bell, What the Dead Man Taught Me. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Abby, and it's always good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Bye. And so there's Abby E. Murray with today's poem on Rattle, What the Dead Man Taught Me. Let me try to find, let me pull up a poem from, let's see. Let's do a little Blast to the Past poem. Let's go back to 2017, December 24th this week, 3 years ago. And the poem on Rattle was, I'm trying to find a poem about Christmas that I actually like, which is a good poem for this week. And this is by Brittany Corrigan. This poem came out of reflecting back on all the difficult and hateful and tragic things that have happened in 2017, though the news story that really spurred the writing of this was the passage of the new tax bill. With Christmas approaching, I was struggling to find the holiday spirit in all the rubble. This poem is a response to that hopeless, hopeful feeling many of us are currently experiencing. And a pretty popular poem with over 1,000 shares at the time. And this is Brittany Corrigan. I'm trying to find a poem about Christmas that I actually like.
I'm trying to find a poem about Christmas that I actually like, but they're mostly dated and filled with words like thine and o'er and behold. And yes, I do want something about the snow and the light as it falls on the snow, but I could do without the angels today, or anything unreachable that's supposed to be looking out for us down here. And yes, I do want something about the trees, both outside and inside, and about the singing, and about the laying out of the table, or the looping of ribbons, or the tucking in of children. But I'm wishing we could leave God out of it. It's not God's job to hang out with us right now and fix things. I want something that uses filling stockings as a metaphor for choosing small kindnesses to tuck into each person's heart. Something that reminds us that the horse knows the way, so if we could just find that horse and hold on, we'll come out of all this okay. Something that, yes, is filled with the glistening and the sparkling and all things aglow, because as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. Yes, that's the kind of thing I want. All of us outrunning the storm that's pushing us out of the year. And we're climbing right over the tired pile of reindeer to what's really up there for us, the snow coming down, the way we shape it with our hands and throw.
Excellent poem. That was Brittany Corrigan once again with I'm trying to find a poem about Christmas that I actually like. A good poem for everybody this week too, I think. Now let's see what you have to share. Let me get everything a little situated. We'll call up first. Let's go to Nivedita first. She was first on the list. And this is Nivedita Karthik. Trying to pull this up right.
Hello?
Hey, Nivedita, how you doing this morning?
Tim, it's Mike from me and I'm doing great, thank you.
Oh, that's right. I don't know how I could forget. I was just thinking that 1 second ago, but well, how are you doing this evening? How is your Sunday? How does Sunday look for the rest of us as we're still waiting for it?
Hopefully better than mine. I was working.
Really? Oh, yeah. Let's see. So what do you have to share for us this Sunday night?
So it's basically this random news story I found on Reuters. It's about how this mall in the Philippines is sort of enchanting viewers to come back into its cinema halls. And it's doing so by so it's themed around Venice. The entire mall is themed around Venice. So what they've done is they've put gondolas on the canal in the middle of the mall. And so you actually have gondoliers who steer you to like clear socially distant places on the canals. And then they tie up the gondolas and you actually watch a movie while sitting in the gondolas. So
well, we have a picture here.
Sounded like a weird...
Yeah, I'll put it up for everybody. This is from a Reuters story. And this is the gondola movie theater. That looks like a nice setting for a movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem all that expensive as well. I mean, so Who knows? Hopefully somebody else will see that and come up with it in another place in the world and we can enjoy it all too.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great idea. The return to drive-in movies would be nice. Although, a lot of places it's cold right now too. So it never.
But it's
Yeah,
inside a mall, so you're still safe.
that's
It's
true.
still nice and warm inside, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a mall. Even though it
It's
looks.
inside a mall, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. A canal in a mall like Las Vegas. That's the only time I.
Exactly. It's almost like that, exactly. And it's pretty much the same idea. It's themed like the Grand Canal of Venice, so.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, let's hear it. It's a short poem here. Put it up for everybody.
It
Go
is,
ahead.
yeah. Thank you. Gondoliers steer, ripples on the water bob the long thin boats. Darkness falls. The big screen lights up. The movie plays. Enchanting Venice. The Grand Canal beckons in the Philippines.
Excellent. I love that. Thanks so much for sharing that, Nvidia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a
good.
nice rest of your Sunday.
Yep. Good night to you.
Thank you. I'll
Bye.
see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Next up, we have a 619 number. Let's do that. And Robert Watson, I think, is a new. Yeah, Robert Watson is a new caller too. Let's do the 619 number. Then we'll do Robert Watson after that. Letitia Trunbridge is here. 319, Gail Hemman, Joey Saul, Richard Westheimer, Angela Gartner. Okay, but let's try the 619 number. See who that was.
Hello?
Hey, this is Tim with Rattle. Did you want to share a poem?
Yes, I do.
I think I hear myself in the background, so why don't you mute that or turn it off?
Yeah, I've got her reading. Let me just turn her off.
Yeah, there's a delay for everybody who hasn't seen before. About like 30 seconds,
it
so it's confusing otherwise. So who am I talking to?
Well, this is Ron Lauterbach.
Ah, okay, Ron Lauterbach. I see your poem here. Oh, you shared it. Can I open this? Let's see. Is it going to work for me? Yep, it did. Perfect. Okay. This is Too Much Too Fast. And what was this written about?
Well, I walked past the UCSD Medical Center in Hillcrest neighborhood of San Diego frequently. And last week, I encountered a group of nurses who were off, trying to find someplace to buy lunch. And so I gave them some money and told them thanks. And then that night, I went out and tried to see some meteors, and I just couldn't. And I tried twice, and then all of a sudden I thought one time, gee, what would it be like to be one of those nurses? And the meteors and the poems just kind of materialized.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, let's hear it. This is a Too Much Too Fast by Ron Lauterbach.
I can't see the poem, Tim. Should I?
Yeah, you're gonna have to read your own copy too, because of that delay. You can't read it from the screen.
Oh, okay. Just a minute. I'm gonna have to get it up on my cloud. Just a second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I should. It's hard to remind everybody the things every time, but because I just forget. I'm a forgetful person, to be honest. But yeah, so there's a 30-second delay, so you have to read the poem yourself from your own, your own paper or your own computer screen or something as you read. And and when I call, I'm going to be like calling from the future, which is always confusing because the past, I'm still talking to somebody 30 seconds ago on the video screen, so it's always a surprise. So for new callers, you should be warned about that.
Right.
Did you find it, Ron?
Now I have it ready. Should I just start reading?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Too much, too fast. Not only does it seem that the brain going Trump or COVID-19.
Hey, Ron, the audio. Hey, Ron, can you? I don't know. The audio is super quiet all of a sudden, and it's your end, not mine. Are you there? Let me try. I'm going to call and hang up, and then just call you right back to try to get a better connection. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to call and hang up, and maybe we'll get a better connection. I don't know what's going on there. Let me try again. If not, I'll just read it for Ron since we already talked about it. But maybe. Okay.
How's that?
It's still. It feels like you're on.
How's that, Tim? I haven't put you on speaker. That's what happened.
Ah. Okay. Okay. There you go. So yeah, that's better now. Go ahead whenever you're ready then.
Okay, too much, too fast. Molly doesn't see many meteors and blames it on Trump or COVID-19. She's not sure, but has to go be a nurse at UCSD Hospital where she sees dying people watch others die on TV as deafening life flights come and go as if tickets are free, and she's fairly sure she wants to blame COVID. But Trump reminds her of the card game of bridge and how it makes her father drink gin and punch her mother in the mouth and not let her go out and get help because he fears she will bring the virus home and he will die. Like his friend, the helo pilot, who died last Friday, 3 weeks after he flew injured rioters from City Hall, and she wonders who's flying a chopper now.
Oh, wow. Take a breath. That's a great poem. Thanks so much for sharing that. That was Ron Lauterbach with Too Much, Too Fast. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good rest of your Sunday.
You too.
Bye.
Oh, and by the way,
yeah.
Thank you for your message about the vaccines on Facebook. I sent it off to my stepson for interpretation.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Glad I could help. I mean, I just look for myself. I want to know my own.
Yeah.
If I should, and I feel good about it. So, all right. Well, thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye. Yes, it was Ron Lauterbach with Too Much, Too Fast. And, last Sunday, my Saiku at the end of the show was about the meteor shower, the Geminids, which were last Sunday night. And I talked it all up, and I was excited to go out, and then I went outside, and it was cloudy. And where I live, it's hardly ever cloudy. I mean, not just California, but like the desert side of a mountain in California. And I had this little window to look through, like looking through a porthole at the sky. And still I saw 5 in that little tiny window. There was one little zoop, zoop, zoop of 3 all in a row. It was really cool. So anybody who got to see the meteor shower last Sunday night, it must have been a treat. Let me see. Let's call up next. I said it would be, Robert Watson. Call up Robert. And find Robert's poem. Hey, Robert, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, yeah, we can hear you and see you wonderfully. So let me try to find your poem. Did you submit a poem to Submittable?
Yeah, I did Trump's One Art.
Trump's One Art, that's right. Okay, let me, I had the wrong filter on. 1 second. So do you want to introduce what the poem is about? And actually where you're calling from, too, a first-time caller. Thanks for joining us. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim, how do I hear you but not have my sound coming on the YouTube feed?
Oh, just turn off your YouTube or mute it.
Mute
the YouTube, yeah. Or just X out of that window altogether.
That is.
You better now? I couldn't hear it, but
sure.
Okay, cool. So what do you want to say about what the poem's about? I mean, obviously Trump's One Art, slightly self-explanatory, but let's...
Yeah, so I'm in Los Angeles, and the poem is about Trump. It came out of watching his tax return stories and then watching the election. And somehow I reached across to a distant memory. I once met Elizabeth Bishop when I was a teenager 50 years ago.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so I've always kind of followed her. I've never figured out why she and my father were talking and brought me into a conversation. But her wonderful One Art poem that people know probably by The Art of Losing isn't hard to master. It suddenly started echoing around for me as a way of taking a satiric look at that whole story.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. It's one of those poems that almost writes itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's more than enough to say. And in fact, I tried to write it using the same rhyme sounds and the same rhyme structure that Bishop did, but also to have it fail at the end as a villanelle as a way of sort of marking the failing of the villain.
Excellent. Well, thanks for saying this. This is Trump's One Art. I'll put it up. You have to read your own version, though, of course. Okay,
Sure.
Go ahead.
The art of losing isn't hard to master. When all your gains are hid with the intent to gain deductions, tax time's no disaster. Lose money every year, keep losing faster. Claim refunds on huge costs you never spent. Those audits are a bitch, but you'll outlast her. Write off hush money in that porn star Aster. Hide the dough your dad covertly sent. Leona was a cheat, but you've surpassed her. You stiffed, again, the guys who spread the plaster on your hotel walls, then raised the rent by claiming that those walls were alabaster. Or else, your businesses are the disaster. Your tax returns show gross mismanagement. Of loser deals, you've proved yourself the master. You wrecked some cities, lovely ones, and vaster lands laid waste, and still you weren't content. You weren't a builder, just a reckless blaster. Ran beauty contests, then posed as a pastor. Barged in to ogle every teen contestant. Grab her, pussy, there's no need to ask her. The ship of state? Just loot and then dismaster. Break every law about emolument. When Lady Liberty stood up, you gassed her. Now loans are due. Hundreds of millions vaster than you have cash. You've lost all you were lent. It's clear to even this mere poetaster, your empire's built upon a fake pilaster. Your gaudy home's a conservation easement. Your presidency, write it off. Disaster.
That was great. Yeah, that was really wonderfully done. Thanks so much for sharing that. And right again, that was Robert Watson with Trump's One Art. Thanks so much, Robert. That was a great light verse.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Let's see. Who do we have next? Let's go to a whole bunch of list of callers. Let's do Angela Gardner. I'll find Angela's poem as we.
Trump's One Art.
No problem.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
Sorry.
No problem. You're good. Thanks, Angela. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I stayed up a little too late last night watching the Buffalo Bills game on rerun.
Oh, did they win?
They did. It was a blowout against the Broncos. But I didn't realize I was up till like 1:30, and then I looked at the clock and I said, "Oh no, I better go to bed."
Well, they beat my Steelers last week. So.
Yeah, I've been a Bills fan since the 80s, and this is only the first time in 25 years that they've won the conference championship. They haven't been good in a very long time. So,
well, it's the only team besides, that I'm okay if they win. Like no one else. Like the Steelers are good, but that's my team. But I'm actually okay if the Bills, because they do, deserve a little. They're
a good pity team. You can say it. They're a good pity team. But I like underdogs.
Yeah, they're good, and they're right. Like they're next to a country that I want to move to someday, right?
Yeah. Canada's not bad. Yeah. Okay, so did you want to do the 2020 ends poem? Is that what did you want to share?
Actually, I submitted a couple weeks ago on the wait list for 2021. It's so relevant. It's about
Oh, let me hang on a second. I have to change another filter.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's not my fault. It's just because I didn't realize I archived older stuff. So hang on a second. I have to look up. It's my fault.
We were busy eating French toast this morning, so.
No, it's okay. I just clicked the wrong button. Let me click the right button here, so I can load up the poem.
It's still pretty relevant. It's just about the in-between time, because we're all still waiting to get the vaccine, and these are the things I'm kind of waiting for 2021. So
yeah, here we go. On the wait list for 2021. Perfect. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. I wait to touch shoulders with strangers who are loudly calling for an encore from the rock band. I wait to see the Iowa cornfields from the car window on our long road trip to Colorado. I wait to bite into the juice-filled cheeseburger on the bar stool in the crowded dining room. But I mostly wait to hug my 95-year-old grandfather and taste his pasta sauce every Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I remember this poem. I love that, and yeah, I think we can all feel that too. Road trips and missing people you haven't seen, and all that kind of stuff, and maybe the lights at the end of the tunnel. Maybe in a few months, things will start to get opened up again with the vaccine. So.
Yeah, every Sunday, our family too would get together with Grandpa, and this year, this is the least I've seen him all forever. We're Italian. Every Sunday we gotta have dinner, and it's just crazy not seeing that. But I do miss the shows too. I miss going to rock shows and having fun. And we're just waiting for spring, and hopefully everything will be good.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. happy times, right?
How's your grandfather like handling it? Is he finding it hard to be isolated, or is he handling it okay? Because you hear a lot that it's tougher for older people that really have to isolate.
Well, I mean, my mom and my uncle still see him, and it's just we try to see him in little intervals, but it's just not like the whole family getting together. And I think everybody's impacted, whether you're or younger. I think he's doing well, but I mean, I don't think anyone is. I think we're just all very tired at this point, and I think everyone's feeling the same way. So it's definitely been a trying year. I'm glad it's almost over, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be better right when it hits 2021. We just have to wait a little longer. So that's why I put together my little wait list. Like, I have more things, but this is the core. So
well, thanks so much for sharing that, and I hope you get to spend time soon with your grandfather there.
Yeah, we're not skipping Christmas, so we'll see though.
Okay.
But
well,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. Be well and stay safe.
You too.
Bye, Angela.
Bye bye.
It was Angela Gartner with On the Wait List for 2021. Next, let's call up, let's go to Miguel Garcia. And his poem was To Write History. I'll find that. Well, it rings. Got a lot of great poems today. This is another good one coming up. I like this one a lot. Hey, Miguel, how you doing?
Hello, Tim. All good on my end.
Yeah, you look good. We hear you. Let me see. Let me try to pull up your poem.
Yeah, sure.
And this was To Write History. Do you want to explain what it was about while I find it?
Yeah. So the poem. Well, So basically, I'm actually writing a bunch of poems about like different types of like eulogies, and then different ways to eulogize basically, and then it started off with a journal article that I found about the amount of man-made biomass has actually outweighed the number of compared to natural biomasses basically.
Yeah, that's an amazing just stat to even think of. That given all the rainforests that are like teeming with matter, somehow we've made more than. Oh man,
exactly.
It boggles the mind. And on the oceans too. I mean, like all the phytoplankton and all the blue whales, and it's still our mass is more. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so do you want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll read it. Let me just get my copy. Wait. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
To write history. To write history from bed, the body extended into its meridian, bent to pick the remainder of lily pads borne out from the crumple of paper, the many drafts of a story that refuses to be told once. It had to be told as many imperfect versions, all of this gathering of fragments orbiting in bed. The story somewhere lay floating. To tell a story is somehow to exhume bone out of the body by writing. The paper an open grave, the confession lean as the shovel steering the earth into odd configurations. The calculations confirm man-made materials outweigh the earth's natural biomass. More dinosaur bone and fossil extracted to burn our oil, more plastic born out from that oil, floating as archipelagos of human triumph, if only seen from above. From here, below is our wasteland. The earth is deboned, the soil, the remainder of land partitioned to produce more fragmented histories. The lattices embroidered from hairfall, kingdoms, cities, and villages, brilt, burnt, buried by oil. And here, the body is imitating the ruins outside the perimeter of bed. We crumple our history as imperfect versions floating beside plastic in the Pacific. We map the body by our organs, but many are born without bone. There is no history without bones.
Thanks so much. I love that ending, and that was Miguel Barreto Garcia from London, right? You're in London?
Yeah, currently in London.
Yeah, that was To Write History. Thanks so much for sharing that. How are things going in London right now? I heard lockdowns, it seems crazy again.
Lockdown. Starting yesterday, we went into tier 4, so basically everything's closed.
Yeah, I saw some video of like the buses being full as people work. Or the metro.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, stay safe, Miguel. Great to hear from you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Yep, bye.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Okay. We got a lot of people up. Let's see. We have the unknown caller, which I believe is probably Carlton Johnson, because the connection doesn't work. So let's see. This is let's do Carlton Johnson's poem. This is the story here. I'll put it on screen. This is the story. 1 second. This is the story that Carlton's writing about. Scientists discover that outer space isn't pitch black after all. And I think we had a poem about this last week too. And the idea, or no, maybe did I write a haiku about this last week? I can't remember. Or maybe I just thought about it. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So there's this cosmic optical background, which is similar to the microwave background, which was discovered just last week. And here's Carlton Johnson's poem about it. This poem is Still Pretty Dark by Carlton Johnson. Still pretty dark. As if the matter of the universe, God, if you will, dropped a flashlight in the woods of night and dark, under a patch of moss, just the barest of light creeping out to catch our searching, wandering eyes. The dark is dark, but not as dark as once thought. Thoughts darker than space replace the suffused light colliding with other light particles, dancing off of small motes of dust, caroming like billiard balls in some dark and dusty beer hall of some long-lost VFW. Between beers we can celebrate the not-so-dark. Darkness is our eyes reaching out to the depths of black space, acclimate to an overabundance of joy hidden in the underbrush of this cold pan of space. And then there's the reference in NPR. Scientists discovered outer space isn't pitch black after all. Wonderful poem again. Thanks so much, Carlton Johnson, for sharing that. Just great poems this week. This might be the best week of poems ever on Poetry Spun Live. I love all these. And a variety of topics, too. Let's call up... Let's do Letitia Tunbridge. And Letitia already emailed her poem to openmic@rattle.com. Another Letitia's from London too. So talking about what we were just talking about with Miguel. Hey Letitia, can you hear me?
I can, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're way in the background. Either you don't have it on speaker or you're very far away and quiet and I can't turn it up anymore.
That's very strange. Is that any better?
No, it sounds like the microphone isn't the right microphone or something.
Could be. The only one I've got.
Yeah, well, it's very quiet. Let me see. Talk a little bit more. What's this poem about?
This poem is about, lockdown in the UK. You were just talking to Miguel about how difficult it is at the moment in the UK.
Yeah, I think I'll have to read it for you because I don't think anybody can. I think it's too quiet. Maybe not. Try it with a microphone closer.
Okay. Any better?
That's a little better. Yeah, it's still super quiet, but I think that'll be good enough. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I've done anything wrong this end. Okay. So this poem, as I said, on Friday we had yesterday. Seems so long ago. Yesterday, so yet more people are confined to their homes. So that's what this poem is about.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and read it? And yet. Go ahead.
Yes. She dreams of expansive blue skies. He dreams of fields with grasses waving. She dreams of days of fresh, crispy air, and he dreams of unrestricted motion. She dreams of space to fully stretch. He dreams of wildly leaping. Yet they are together in this place, this flat with 4 little rooms. They have to share the bathroom space. They have to share the kitchen. They want to share the bedroom space. This leaves just one room. Yet they can't imagine not being together. They can't imagine being apart. They can't imagine going out. They can't imagine how this will end. Yet he dreams of splashing in rivers with her. She dreams of walking miles with him. He dreams of leaping boulders with her. She dreams of skipping stones with him. They dream of days when this is over. Yet they are together in this place, this flat with 4 little rooms. They have to share the bathroom space. They have to share the kitchen. They want to share the bedroom space. This leaves just one room. Yet this room, despite the Zooms it hosts, this room despite the work pile's mess, this room despite the we in the corner, this room despite the view to the west, holds treasure precious in a jar. Yet in 2020, all through the week of lockdown, chaos, and pandemic chaos, of smelly socks and PMS rages, of eating too much and too much drinking. All the time they are thinking what endearments to speak on paper, wishes and promises for the future. Yet here they are confined inside, 4 small rooms for months on end, just 2 of them together, dreaming of stretching, of leaping, of space, planning their forever plans. Not once did they expect the sickness would affect them. And yet.
Great poem. Thanks so much for sharing that. And that was, and yet. Thanks so much, Letitia.
Thank you. Thank you. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, same here. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, that was Letitia Chunbridge, and the microphone issue. Don't worry about it. It happens to me too. Like, if something gets unplugged or something's not connected right, and then veteran viewers of the show will know that I've done that many times, and you don't even know how to fix it until you figure out what happened. Let's see. Let's call up. Let's call up Joseph Nolan. We still have a whole bunch of people lined up to share poems. Hey, Joseph, how you doing this morning?
Good. You?
I'm great.
Hopefully my sound is okay.
Yeah, your sound's good and your video's good too. So looking good. Thanks for joining the show.
I could turn off the YouTube. Hold on.
Okay, I couldn't hear it, but you're good.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. This is my first time to do Skype. Any call on Skype with a video, so I'm just trying to get up to speed here.
Well, you're doing a great job. So what did you write your poem about this week?
This one is called Plague Aboard Ship, and it relates to our Sophie's choice of saving the frail elderly who on the average age of 82, die from COVID-19 with at least 2 comorbidities. And this is at the expense of the young and vital who die by way of suicide, alcoholism, drug abuse, and interspousal violence as a result of business shutdowns and social isolation, not to mention the millions who will perish in the poorest nations as a result of increased extreme poverty over time as the world's economy suffers more and more from shutdowns and social isolation. So in other words, it's a question of the treatment causing more deaths than the disease itself, not to mention that it makes life so dreary for everyone.
Sure. Okay, let's hear it. This is A Plague Aboard Ship by Joseph Nolan.
What does it gain the world as a whole to devour the innocent and swallow their souls? The plague came aboard our ship on a Sunday afternoon. Several of our shipmates all fell ill at once. The captain ordered the healthy to assemble on deck and draw lots to walk the plank. 1/10 of the lots were short and signaled who would die. Death by decimation, he called it, and deemed it necessary to prevent the rampant spread of the plague which might otherwise kill us all. He explained that the closer we were in proximity to each other, the more rapid would be the spread. And since we were all aboard ship together, the only way we had any chance of staying alive was to thin out the herd. It went on like this from day to day as our ranks were all thinned out, and thankfully, by these means, there were, at last, several survivors when we pulled into port and disembarked. What does it gain the world as a whole to devour the innocent and swallow their souls? End of poem.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that. It was Joseph Nolan with the Plague Aboard Ship. I always love the way you read. It's almost like singing. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing that, Joseph.
Thanks, Tim. Bye-bye now.
Good to see you, too. Bye. Okay. Let us see. Who have we not done yet? Let's call up. Yeah, there's a little bit of time left. Then let's do Richard Westheimer. We have Joyce Stahl, Gail Hemman, probably some other people. Let's see. Looking up. We're calling Richard Westheimer right now. Hey, Richard, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, and just not feeling sorry for you at all as a Bills fan, as being from Southwest Ohio and having the Bengals as the only thing to look to.
Ouch. And then the one bright spot was, what's his name? Burrow. And then then his leg's gone for the season.
Well, it happens when you have terrible ownership that you get one bright spot as opposed to a team, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a different way of looking at the world. So I have loved the poems today.
Hasn't it been a great week, and just the variety and the different styles and subjects? It's been wonderful. It's been a great episode. So thanks everybody who called in and shared stuff so far. What do you have for us? This is Fading Light on the Eighth Night.
Yeah, and I sent not a revision, but one with photographs.
Yeah, that's what I have up here. Yeah,
through the email. Mm-hmm. So just by way of comment, Hanukkah is not a particularly religious or important holiday. It just happens to come at the same time of year as a particularly important holiday to other folks, but it shares this notion of bringing light into a dark time, and we love watching the candles burn out each night. So Fading Light on the Eighth Night, and by way of an epigraph, Václav Havel, hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out.
Another great. That's great.
Fading Light. Yeah. Fading Light on the Eighth Night. There is a moment right before the flame flicks out, when the charred wick pokes through a dying plasma, when, if I look closely, I can imagine Instead of a dying flame, I see the remains of a dying star, one that has engulfed its planets, transformed them into splinters of wax, sent them forth in sputters. And what I see on those little cinders are the smallest of men debating their futures, berating their fellow orb dwellers right to the end. And then the flame is gone. I look to the next candle in line, still alive with yellow glow, and hope again that something will make sense.
Excellent. That was Fading Light on the Eighth Night by Richard Westheimer. Beautiful photos, too. Are those your own photos?
Yeah, those were from the Eighth Night, the Fading Light on the Eighth Night.
Yeah, I love those. Well, thanks so much for sharing. And, this is I think tomorrow's the winter solstice, so it's the darkest days of the year right now, but it's always great to have some light. So thanks for sharing that, Richard.
Yeah, just one note on your reading that I love when you read other poems is that you pay attention to their line breaks. So often when people read poems, they just sort of run right through them, and I think that really, really honors the poets when you actually pay attention.
It's weird. In school, my least two favorite things were writing, like in high school, and reading out loud. And now it's my job. It's so bizarre, but I'm glad that I can manage, I guess. But yeah, I try to like a brief pause, like just the briefest, like a hesitation almost is how I think of a line break usually. So
yeah, it's respect for the poet too when you actually honor that.
Well, thanks. I think you're the first person to ever compliment my reading, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
I won't be the last. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Okay. And now we have. I think Gail Hemmon might be the last one on the line. Let me. Let's see. Make sure. Oh wait, Mike Bales too. Okay, I think we have Mike Bales and Gail Hemmon. Let's do Gail Hemmon. Then we'll do... Did I do Mike Bales already? No, I didn't do Mike Bales already. Okay. We'll do Gail and then Mike. And that'll probably be it.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Gail. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty well, Tim. We're getting a little break here in the rain here in the Northwest. Glad to be here this morning. Great to hear everyone's poems. How are you?
I'm good. So you have the platypus glow under black light. Is that your story for today?
Yes, just platypus, and they're finding out a few other types of animals glow under black light, and we don't know why. But I've been thinking about Christmas lights this year and everybody's kind of buoyancy they've brought. Everybody's sort of like a Christmas bulb or a Christmas light here with the different along with the cheerful aspects of things that everybody's bringing up and kind of the way we carry light, like Richard just talked about.
It seems, I don't know about your area, but around here it seems like there are more Christmas lights than there've ever been, or holiday lights than there ever been. I think people are trying to light up. The same with the fireworks on the 4th of July, and a lot more stuff going on. Do you think that's the case in your area?
Yeah, it's funny, Tim. Absolutely. There was a pretty extended fireworks display here. I am near a base, so that might be part of it. But then with Christmas, there's lights everywhere on trucks. There was a windsock Santa on a car the other day. There's like these giant kind of like meta bulbs in people's yards. It's it's really cool to see that like kind of glowing out here. And
there seems to be a lot of holiday spirit, and because people try to make the most of it. And yesterday we also had a drive-by carolers, which I'd never seen before. But there was a back of a pickup truck had a whole family caroling, driving through the streets in town, which was really fun too.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so go ahead. This was a short haiku. Let me put it on screen before you read it. Hang on just 1 second. I have to... is that it? Yep, there it is.
Thank you, Tim. The glow drives all of our lives. Platypus glows blue and green, charging Christmas lights.
Excellent. Why don't you read it again since it's a haiku?
The glow drives all of our lives. Platypus glows blue and green, charging Christmas lights.
Excellent. Thanks so much for sharing that, Gal. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. Take good care. Happy holidays. And thank you, everyone. Have a good holiday season. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you, Gal.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, let me... Nancy Iannucci. I'm not in a rush. Maybe we can go. I'll make sure we get everybody in. So we have Nancy Iannucci and Mike Bales. I think those are the last two then. I'll make sure I don't miss anybody, though. 319. We got the 319. And that was the other day. Okay, yeah, so we have two left. Mike Bales and Nancy Iannucci, who's a first-time caller. Mike Bales has been on before. This is by phone. And Mike sent a poem over here. The meteor shower.
Hello.
Hey, Mike, how you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm glad you mentioned the meteor shower last Sunday.
Did you get to see it?
Well, I tried. I had to imagine it. I went to the north edge of the Quad Cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cloudy, pretty cloudy. I didn't have a lot of time to try to look because I have to get up early for work. So I kind of had to imagine the meteor shower. And I wrote this.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead. I'll put up for everybody. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called Looking for the Meteor Shower. Beyond light, in a park at the edge of a small town, the car radio fades into a whisper of nothingness. Darkness, my intimate friend. One streak than another. Something called a shooting star. Tells stories of the reaches of outer space. A burning passion. A passage of a heavenly tale. Swept by celestial light and solar winds. Moments of luminescence seen through my windshield. Where on other nights, breathless lovers dream a universe of their own.
Excellent. That was Mike Bales with Looking for the Meteor Shower. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks. Always good to be on.
Yeah, always good to have you. Thanks, Mike. Have a good day.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Okay. Oh, we have Joy Stahl, too. Sorry. Yeah, I did miss Joy Stahl. So let's do Joy Stahl and Nancy Iannucci. Let's do Joy Stahl first. Joy did a call first. But we have time for everybody. We'll get everybody in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Joy. So sorry that I almost missed you. I'm glad you recalled to remind me that you'd called before. Toward the end of the show, the list is so long that it's hard to figure out who I've talked to already and who I haven't. But so thanks so much. So what do you have for us today?
So I sent it to Submittable right before the show started, as usual, writing at the last minute, about Joe Biden selecting Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary.
Excellent, cool. So, and that is the first Native American cabinet person, right?
Yes. Well, it will be if she gets confirmed.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I am crossing my fingers.
Okay, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right. Daughter of the Laguna Pueblo, friend of the Standing Rock Sioux, champion of the environment, nominated to care for the lands too long dry and burning because tradition was abandoned, the lands mistreated and polluted because elders were disrespected. One woman to stand for all of the people, the first people, to counter over 200 years. Do not blame her if it is not enough. Not enough time to correct damage done for good or ill. Not enough resources to replenish what was depleted by greed and need. And first, she must stand before men to be deemed worthy to begin.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Love that ending. Thanks for sharing that. That was Joy Stahl with Biden selects Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary. Thanks, Joy. Always great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, and last but not least is Nancy Iannucci, who will be a first-time caller to finish off the show. You have to find... Hey, Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm getting a echo here.
Oh, yeah, here. Yeah, shut off the YouTube stream in the background.
Okay. All right, I think that's better.
And then if you'd like to be on camera, click the camera button, which is between the mute and the hang up on your Skype.
Let's see here. Here we are. Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling in. Great to see you. You've been, commenting and participating in like the critique of the week and stuff for a long time, and good to finally see you.
Yes, thank you. Good to see
you. What poem did you want to share? We have a couple.
One is the latest one called Wolf.
Okay.
The Wolf.
Yep, I got it here. Okay. And what is it about?
This is about the vaccine, the first woman to receive the vaccine, Sandra Lindsay. And this, I was thinking about her bravery, and I'm thinking about Little Red Riding Hood as I'm writing this, and it kind of morphed into that a bit.
Yeah, I remember this. A very interesting poem. Go ahead and whenever you're ready. You have to read your own copy of it, though.
Yes.
You can't see it on screen. Okay.
The Wolf, for Sandra Lindsay. She casts aside her basket, feeling powerless to cure the wounds of countless grandmothers consumed. She dare not follow the path into the woods, dead-end trials and failed attempts. The wolf is never too far behind, big eyes watching between weak branches. She sits patiently under thunder and lightning, blocking out his worn-out howl. Words muffle under her mask. I'll give him something to eat. She rolls up her sleeve and bravely waits for the wolf's big teeth.
Yeah, excellent. I love that image at the end. Great way to put it. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Yep. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Happy holidays.
Yep. Same to you. Bye. Yes, that was Nancy Iannucci with The Wolf for Sandra Lindsay. I think there's a picture that goes with this, right? It's a video on this link. Never mind. Oh, here you go. Here's a picture. No, I do not want to try a free trial. Okay. Yeah, so there's the picture it was written about. Okay, that is the show for today. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. We'll finish up with my Saiku. And did I lose the article? No, I did not. Okay. So the article I wrote about for my science haiku is right here. This is from MIT News. Researchers at MIT have found a new way to make an atomic clock even more precise. So how they usually make an atomic clock, there's a diagram here. So an atomic clock usually works by taking two lasers and they suspend a few, usually cesium atoms, between these two lasers and a prism, so they're kind of stuck there. And then they use another laser to measure the vibration of the cesium atom. And it turns out that if they quantum entangle the atoms first, they can measure it even more precisely and calibrate it much more quickly. For reasons I tried very hard to understand, and I do not understand at all. But for some reason, because of the quantum weirdness, you can't measure just one particle at a time, of course, because you can't measure, what is that law? It's part of quantum mechanics that you can't measure time and speed of anything at once because your measurement instrument affects it. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that. But anyway, because of that, you have to measure a bunch at once. And for some unknown reason, quantum entangling the group of atoms makes you be able to measure them more accurately and more precisely, so they can have atomic clocks that work even better than ever before, which will let scientists find things like gravity waves and other things in the future, and maybe measure if time is changing, which is always something that's very interesting to me. I always wonder if dark energy and the expansion of the universe is actually time accelerating, but that's a different story. So my Saiku for the day was right here. Just married, they find that time's best kept entangled. Just married, they find that time's best kept entangled. That's my Saiku for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the entire show as much as I did. I thought it was an excellent one. Thanks to everybody who participated. As always, it's really, there's nothing more fun than sharing poems every week. And whether it's this here or it's other places. I just love it. So thanks everybody for participating. Now this week's guest on the Rattlecast is going to be Amy Miller. Her newest book is The Trouble with New England Girls. That's Rattlecast number 72. Amy has been in Poets Respond, of course. She's a veteran, kind of like Abby Murray, too, has been in Poets Respond about once a year since we started doing it. So is Amy Miller. And The Trouble with New England Girls is her book, which I haven't read yet, but I'm really looking forward to reading it today or tomorrow. The prompt for this week was to write a cloggernatch, which is a Welsh form of 6-line stanzas. You have to look it up. The details are too complicated for me to explain. But if you go to Writer's Digest, there's a great article. If you go to rattle.com/rattlecast, you can find the link there. Or you can just Google cloggernatch, which is CLOGYRNACH. And that's the Welsh form. Figure out that form and write a poem. It's syllabic and rhymed. And should be a good challenge for everybody out there. And this is one of those prompts where there's open-ended topics. So we'll see what you want to write about. But all in this form. Looking forward to that and talking to Amy Miller Tuesday, December 22nd, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you then. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.